Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Friday, February 14th, 8 a.m. on the dot. Glad to be here. Glad to be hanging out with everybody. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Appreciate you guys hanging out. The Sliwa Show here, Hoops Talk, the channel. Appreciate you guys kind of making this part of your routine here. Hopefully, it's part of your routine. Hopefully, day in and day out, you guys are hanging out right here. Thank you for being a part of the show. We got a great show lined up as always. Got a good quote here that I want to share with everybody. First, let me just top of the morning to everybody. For those who are members, got some special emojis in there. The special emojis got a cup of coffee with Slee. There's quote of the day emojis. So something to keep in mind there. If you're not yet a member, if you are a member, might as well use them. I mean, damn, you're paying for it. Thank you for being a part of the show. Good morning. About 4 or 5 sips into my cup, my first cup of coffee. Maybe I'll get 2 in. I know I'll get tea in after this. I know that's going to happen. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. In my weekend preview, I do want to talk a little bit about the game plan tonight for those who are going to maybe take their ladies out or whatever the case is, whatever the plans are for tonight. Not easy at those restaurants tonight. It's not easy. I got some tips that I want to give out. All right. It's not easy. For all I know, you could end up in they might put a table out in the storage closet or something and say, oh yeah, we got nothing but the best tonight. I'm like, yeah, but I'm in the storage closet. So let's talk about this a little bit. I feel like we got to walk through this here. Okay. All right. Quote of the day today. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. The will to win, the desire to succeed, and the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Can I sneak one more in here? Of course I can. Why can't I? I mean, technically, I control the show. The grass is greener when you water it. The grass is greener when you water it. All right, you can take that any way that you want, but there's a couple quotes for everybody. I didn't even know I was throwing in 2 quotes in here today. I didn't know I was throwing. I already got Valentine's Day tips and then 2 quotes that I'm throwing out to everybody. All right, obviously, no Los Angeles Lakers game, no NBA games. We're done. Done till next Thursday, so about a week off. Kind of this is a nice point in the season for somebody who covers the sport and covers the team. And I've been covering the team now for years, so I've been kind of around the NBA for a little bit. This is a kind of a mountain to get over when you get to this stretch of the season. So I'm a fan that we have a little bit of a break. I know we got less technically to talk about. I know topics-wise, you're not necessarily reacting to games, but that doesn't mean you can't have good in-depth conversations and good topics based upon not just reacting to games. So I like this time of the year. I could use a little bit of a break. Not going to lie. I mean, all I got to do is show in the morning. This is like cake now. I'm chilling the rest of the day. All right, here's a rundown of the show. There's a really good clip that I grabbed from First Take yesterday with Brian Windhorst. And Windhorst is talking about how dangerous the Lakers can be next season. Not this year, next season. And I think some people don't want to hear that, but that's okay. I think there's some truth to what he's saying. And I think, I put out a video yesterday about how the Lakers will kind of get a chance to regroup come this summer after that Mark Williams trade didn't go down, and that they got a lot of options. So I do want to play that clip because I understand where he's going with it. I understand the window the Lakers are in to try to do something with basically a whole new foundation of a team under Luka with 30 games left to go. So I want to play that. He also says something that's interesting too. He says that until Luka takes over the team, the Lakers will only have, so much of a ceiling. So basically, until Luka says, F it, this is my team, everything runs through me, I'm going to stop being Mr. Nice Guy. Unless he does that, that's the only way the Lakers actually go to a real championship type of level. So I want to get into both of those because I do think those are both kind of topics on their own that are interesting. The best role for Austin Reaves. We got to spend some time on this. Austin Reaves he's a conversation. There are times where he's dropping 45. There's times he's going 1 for 10 from 3. I knew what his role, the best role for Austin Reaves was when Anthony Davis was still on the Lakers. Now I want what's the best role for Austin Reaves under these current, situation with Luka and LeBron and everything else. Spend some time on Austin Reaves. Where everybody is right now in the NBA standings. If the playoffs started today, what it would look like. Because it could very well look like this. We'll have an idea. Okay, what would that first round matchup look like? What would the second round look like? The West is going to be fun once we get to the playoffs. So we'll take a quick look at that. What happened to All-Star Weekend? Remember how much fun All-Star Weekend used to be? All-Star Weekend as a kid used to be awesome. Did something happen to All-Star Weekend? Did something change, or has it always been this way? But as we get older, we just have less interest, or more and more people have an opinion about why they're not playing enough defense or whatever the case is. Talk about All-Star Weekend. And then weekend preview. I got a couple things here that I'm going to get into. I'll give actually the details of the All-Star Weekend, who's in the slam dunk contest, who's in the three-point shootout. So we'll get a little bit into that. I got to talk about Valentine's Day. There's a couple stories on in Major League Baseball that I'll get into as well. Alex Bregman, Clayton Kershaw, and then we're going to call it a weekend. So thank you for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. Would greatly appreciate that. And I need to go grab a napkin because I need to blow my nose, and I forgot to bring one. So bear with me for 2 seconds. Oh, much better. Much better. You guys don't want to hear that. I think, for those out there could at least say, hey, Slee, sounds like maybe you got a little bit of a sinus situation going on. Here's my suggestion, Slee. Hey, Slee, way to work through it. You know what I mean? Slee, look at you powering through. You got to go blow your nose. You still show up to work every single day. I mean, come on. Are we in this together, or is it just me? Unbelievable, you people. Unbelievable. God, I feel better now. I was like, I couldn't do the show like that the entire time. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here, and then we're going to get the show started. All right, let's see what we got here. Use your sleeve. Not happening. Not happening. All right, some stuff here on Austin Reaves. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, my brother. Morning, Slee. Good morning, y'all. It's absurd the amount of people freaking out over Luka's play when he's on minutes restriction. He'll take over quickly. I'm gonna come back to this. I don't think that's not the topic. That's not the topic. The topic is not, is Luka talented? I don't think anybody's asking that question. All right, let's see what we got here. Look, people using the quote emoji there. Good morning, Sliwa. Hope you're doing well. Let's get it. All right, let's get started here. I'm going to start playing a clip here from Brian Windhorst, and let's see. I'm going to start playing a clip here from Brian Windhorst. We'll get the show started from there, and we'll go from there. Okay, so yesterday this was on First Take, talking about the Lakers. I saw this after the show, and it doesn't apply to anything from yesterday's game. It's not about yesterday's game. It's more just looking at kind of Lakers' big picture where they could be more of a threat. Are they more of a threat next year? Are they more of a threat this year? Let's take a listen to Brian Windhorst, one of the best in the business, on talking about the Lakers. And then I'm going to pause it a couple times and we'll react to it.
Hell, I'm very bullish on the Lakers in the playoffs in 2026. I am giving them a free roll this year. And I know that that's not the popular thing to say because you're like, oh my God, LeBron's 40 years old. How can you say that? First off, I believe in LeBron's window. If they get the right matchup, they could beat a team. Last night, Dallas played against Golden State. There was one player in that starting lineup for both teams over 6'7". There's some teams with size.
Okay. This is a topic in itself. And I had somebody reach out to me yesterday, or somebody that was commenting and said, Slee, why do you keep saying Lakers don't have size? Jackson Hayes is tall. Alex Len is tall. They got Koloko. They got some other size. Stop saying they don't have size. Okay, let me make an adjustment here. How about this? Talent. They don't have size and talent, because I think it's one thing to say, you're right, Alex Len is a 7-footer. Is he a talented 7-footer? He's not. Jackson Hayes is he has a specific role as a 7-footer, but that doesn't mean that Jackson Hayes is give Hayes the ball and let him go to work. Hey, you need a bucket, end of the shot clock, give the ball to Jackson Hayes and let him do his thing. He's got a role, but I think it's fair to say nobody's looking at the bigs that the Lakers have and they're worried about them, or they're scared about them, or they think that's how the Lakers are going to win games is because of their bigs. That's a separate conversation, but keep listening here to Windhorst.
Issues in the West, but a lot of them have great size. The Thunder have great size. The Nuggets have great size, and they're going to have to beat one of them to get to the conference finals. They might even have to beat both of them, depending on how they do in the second half. Last night in this game, and granted, Jackson Hayes, who is their starter, he got hurt.
Don't pay attention to yesterday's game or the game against the Utah Jazz. I don't care about the game against Utah Jazz. This is more just the big picture of what Windhorst is talking about.
But Walker Kessler, who was a quality big man, but certainly not an elite big man, he was 8 of 8 shooting. And even before they traded Anthony Davis, this was not a team that defended great in the paint. They were 4th in the league. They had the 4th highest percentage for opponents shooting in the paint. So I'm giving them a free roll this year. If whatever they accomplish, I am not putting any expectations on him. Luka has the...
Stop it right there. I'm giving them a free roll this year. Whatever they accomplish this year, I'm okay with. Okay. Let's stay on that for a quick second. I will say this. If hypothetically, if the Lakers made a run this year, I don't know if this is the right way to put it. Are the Lakers playing with house money this year? Let's put it that way. Okay, well, let's think about really what happened to the Lakers over the course of these last 2 weeks. Okay? You tell me if these expectations are the proper expectations or they're delusional. You tell me which one. If I told you you got to pick between one of these two, you could only pick between one of these two. Which one of these expectations are maybe closer to accurate and a little bit delusional? You went out before the NBA trade deadline, basically right around February 1st. So you're already almost 50 games into the season. Let me play 82. 50 games into the season. And the best player on your team and the foundation of kind of how your team is built, you traded away in Anthony Davis. And you did not get a player that came back that's similar to how Anthony Davis plays. It's not like you traded Anthony Davis away and you got another big. No. You went completely different. You got an international point guard that plays a completely different style of basketball, and defense is not what he's known for, but what he's known for is being a top 3 player in the world, obviously coming off an injury and everything else. But think about stylistically how wildly different the Lakers are than they were 2 weeks ago. Think about the strengths of Luka versus the strengths of Anthony Davis. You couldn't be different. You couldn't be any more different from a star player than those two players. They're both stars, and then, Luka's obviously how he's made up and his makeup. It's different because of his age, what he brings to the table. Anthony Davis, phenomenal player in his own right, but what are his strengths? What are his characteristics? You did that 50 games into the season. you can't build a team. The way the team was built before was built technically around Anthony Davis and LeBron, but a lot of those is kind of the strengths of Anthony Davis is how this team was built. They don't have enough time. Clearly, they didn't have enough time to go build a team around Luka Doncic. The team was technically built around Anthony Davis. Okay. Then you try to go make the Mark Williams trade. We all know what happened. It got rescinded. Call it a day. Is what it is in regards to that. The spot that the Lakers are sitting in today is they turned the chapter on what the Lakers franchise used to be, and they got this completely brand new blank canvas that they're trying to now build a new team and a new roster under a 25-year-old. If the Lakers don't accomplish anything in these upcoming playoffs, you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me put it this way. They win a round and they lose in the second round. I don't think it's the end of the world. And I think that's probably more realistic than them actually making a deep run. And I think what Windhorst is trying to emphasize here is really where you can start looking at this Lakers team and analyzing, do they have a legitimate shot of making a true championship run? He doesn't think it's going to be this year. He thinks based on the summer that they have, based on now everybody regrouping, that's why for me there was a little bit of, and I know it hurts the Lakers a lot this year not having a guy like Mark Williams, but there was a little bit of like, okay, I don't think it's the end of the world that trade didn't go down. That if they could walk into the summer, they got 3-4 players with expiring contracts. They get 30, 40 games to see. I mean, 30 games because of the regular season, plus let's see how many, playoff games they play. Maybe they play another 10 games. Maybe they play 6 games. Maybe they play 15 games. Let's see what works, what doesn't work, what players complement each other, what players don't complement each other. I think what Windy is saying is a fantastic point, and I think it's a fair point. So if I'm asking you guys, which one's more realistic this year? That this team tries to figure out what the hell they have, but probably doesn't have great success, as in they win a round in the playoffs, or this team gets put together over halfway through the season, has to play under a completely different philosophy, and actually truly goes to make a real championship run. If the latter happened, man, that's so impressive. And what a compliment to all the players and the coaching staff and Rob Pelinka that they were able to do that. But I think the first one I'm talking about is probably more realistic that they can be real, true contenders in 2026, but probably not real, true contenders in 2025. I already saw some of the comments. Some of the comments are like, oh my gosh, we're already giving up on the season. No, I'm just talking big picture about the Lakers this year. What are fair expectations? When they had Anthony Davis and LeBron, you kind of already knew what they were. And you were trying to go all in. And those were two guys that had already won a championship together. And they had got to the Western Conference Finals together. And if they went all in and got another big to complement those guys, they're in a win now mode. Completely changed once they got Luka. So I'm going to keep playing some of this because I want to finish the rest of the clip. And then we'll continue to react to it. So let's keep listening here to Windy. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit so we catch up to his last point.
I'm giving them a free roll this year. If whatever they accomplish, I am not putting any expectations on them. Luka has the ability to lift his team up to be more than it can, and so I will watch him do that. I think the second part of this season is really going to be about figuring out how they got to play with Luka. Because Stephen A. last night as I watched them, I could tell Luka really doesn't feel like it's his team yet. He's taking the ball and he's immediately passing it. He's sort of really sharing the load with Austin Reaves and LeBron. That's not who Luka is. Luka has to be the guy who he has the ball and everything operates around him. And that's why LeBron said the other day, fit out, don't fit in. That's a really good advice from him, but that's not what Luka's doing. Luka is fitting in right now. They're going to have to use the second half of the season to convince Luka this is your team. And I believe LeBron can play off of him. I believe in all that. But to me, that's the goal in the second half, not how far they get in the playoffs.
All right, that's Brian Windhorst right there. Always doing a fantastic job. Okay, let me. I'm going to wait here for a quick second on the Luka takeover that he's talking about. I love the point too, right? I love the Luka takeover in this. If the Lakers are truly going to be a dangerous threat, everything has to run through Luka. It's going to be an adjustment for everybody. It's like, okay, Bron adjusting, which I think Bron can play off of the ball. I don't think the world's going to end if Bron plays off the ball. But it's going to be Luka mentality up here. This shit is mine. This is my team. Everything runs through me. I don't care that I just got to LA. I don't care that this is the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't care that that's LeBron James on the other side. I eat first. Will Luka, this early in his career with the Lakers, want to kind of have that thought process and that mentality? I don't have the answer for you. I don't. In Dallas, it was no problem. In Dallas, it was like, okay, well, he's clearly the best player on the team. This is clearly his franchise. And they had years to build him up to, hey, this is yours. The keys are yours. I mean, everybody else is sitting in the passenger seat. This is so wildly different than what he's accustomed to. Let me hold off on Luka for just a second, because I think that is a separate conversation and a good conversation. Let me start looking at some of your guys' comments, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. What do you mean by Biggersley? It's in the title screen. All right, maybe I gotta make an adjustment with something that I had here. I'll do that in a second. I appreciate the super. Oh, I got it here. My apologies there. All right, I'm going to fix this here real quick. Thank you for catching that. I appreciate it. All right, it's fixed. Thank you for catching that. Appreciate the super there, Francis. All right, let's get another one here. Logan, this might hurt LeBron fans and Austin's fans, but I don't care. JJ has to let Luka be the primary ball handler. When Luka gets back to 100%, he's the best player. Okay, Logan, let me play off of this. This is going to be the, and I don't think this is about LeBron fans or Austin Reaves fans. I think this is more about what's in the best interest of the team. Is it in the best interest of the team? I'll ask Laker fans this. Is it in the best interest of the team right now that everything runs through a 40-year-old in LeBron who's been phenomenal? It's been fantastic. I'm not trying to take anything away from LeBron. And I know it's easy sometimes. Anytime I make a point about LeBron and it's not a compliment, I'll get 10 comments of people, oh, you're hating on LeBron. No. I'm just speaking the absolute truth. Is it better for the Lakers to run things through LeBron at 40, or is it better to run things through Luka and let LeBron take a little lighter of a load, which actually I think long-term serves him better? LeBron can play off the ball better than Luka can. LeBron can do anything. Some players in the league can't do everything. LeBron can. So I think right out the gate of the LeBron piece of this, LeBron is better off having moments where he can say, okay, let me go to work. But really everything should run through Luka. Okay, let's put Austin Reaves in this. The Austin Reaves thing isn't even a conversation. Austin Reaves took 10 threes in the last game. Yeah, that ain't it. That's not how the Lakers are going to have the maximum amount of success this year, is for Austin Reaves to be firing up shots left and right, primarily from the three-point line. I don't think that's the solution either. The question I think that has less to do with LeBron, it has less to do with Austin Reaves. In the second half of the season, when Luka gets another 5-7 games in, when Luka's around 10 games as a Los Angeles Laker, when hopefully he uses this next week or so to just kind of get himself, like he mentioned, mentally in the right state of mind and everything else. Once Luka can kind of put himself in a position where all those are out of the question, will Luka allow himself to say, yeah, this shit runs through me? Guys, when I say that, I'm not talking about him trying to be a selfish player. Sometimes being selfish is better for your team. Depends who it is. If Austin Reaves is selfish, that's not good for the Lakers. If Luka's selfish for the Lakers, I think that's actually probably the best way that the Lakers can be successful. If Luka's the one that's the primary ball handler up and down the floor, everything is running through Luka. He's making the decisions. He's deciding when to be aggressive on offense, when to create for others, when to feed LeBron, when to feed Austin Reaves, when to step back and let LeBron do his thing. That, to me, is the thing that I'm paying most attention to. And I like how Windhorst explained that. If the Lakers are going to, they got to spend the second half of this season how to make Luka Doncic feel like, bro, whatever you were doing in Dallas, don't think twice. Come do it here. We'll play around you. That's probably going to give the Lakers their best opportunity to go make a real, I don't want to use real run, but make somewhat of a run. I don't know what that run's going to be. Guys, I know this. I know that Lakers went through a stretch where they won, I think, 12 or 14 games. They were phenomenal defensively. Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent's hitting shots. Rui Hachimura is awesome. They went through a stretch where they were amazing. They were, and that was with a lot of guys missing. Okay, well, what happens when you add Luka, when you add some of these players and you actually have some time to kind of see what this thing looks like? Do they just become more and more dangerous? Or is there, hey, you can't win not having, they got such a hole in their big men. You can't win like that. If you're not getting enough defensive stops, you can't win like that. So I think there's still a lot that's going to be figured out. But I like this comment because, Logan, you don't have to say sorry to LeBron fans or sorry to Austin fans or any of that stuff. What you're saying is accurate. If the Lakers are going to have the most success that they can have this year, Luka's got to be the top 3 player in the world. Well, the only way Luka's going to be the top 3 player in the world is if everything runs through Luka. And if Luka's making decisions and kind of doing what he's doing based off of his instincts, based off of what he knows, based off of his decision-making, then that probably gives the Lakers, a better chance ability-wise to be what they're supposed to be. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to star this one. The AR needs to come off the bench. I'm going to star that one. Let's get back to that one in a little bit because I got here as one of my topics, best roles for Reaves. But let me look at some of these and then we'll get into it. Yep. Bourbon, Fugazi, roll call, Zen quote, another quote, coffee, boxing. If you remember, you got all these emojis. I do have a quick update for members. I was trying to do a video today, but I wasn't able to get back down to San Diego. So my plan is to do a members video tomorrow. I want to do it from my office, from my little studio that I have out there, because I want it to be just a straight up behind the scenes. This is what the studio looks like. This is where I am. This is what the office looks like. I want to make it as organic as possible, but I want to be in my office when I'm doing it. So with that in mind, my plan is to do a members only video tomorrow now. So I don't think that's going to be happening today. Let me get a couple more in here. Run the offense through Luka. LeBron will play off the ball. It's actually one of the biggest compliments that you can give to LeBron. He can do anything. LeBron is not one of those guys where it's like, how many times did you used to see LeBron? It's actually one of my favorite things about LeBron. There were times watching LeBron back in the day. Let me go back to the Cleveland days. How many times would LeBron just give the ball to Kyrie and almost turn his back and be like, yeah, you go to work? LeBron doesn't care. That's one of the things I think that makes him one of the greatest to ever do it. Sometimes a lot of these great players feel like everything's got to go through them. Kobe's a perfect example. You think Kobe was willing to throw the ball and turn around and say, yeah, that guy's got it? No. Kobe was like, if 2 guys come on me, I'm going to still take the shot because I have more confidence in me hitting a bucket over 2 guys fading away from 18 feet than I do hitting a wide open guy at the top of the key. That was Kobe's mentality. No, I got to do it. That's not LeBron's mentality. Well, LeBron's mentality, I think, can complement Luka's game even more because Bron, throughout his career, let me give you another example. This almost kind of reminds me a little bit of, it's not the best example. I know age-wise it's a lot different, but I'll give you guys another example. There was a time when, if you guys remember, LeBron joined the Heat. And he was, hey, this is Dwayne Wade's team. Come on, Dwayne Wade's been in Miami his whole career. Dwayne Wade's already won a championship here. I'm joining Dwayne Wade. I gotta be second fiddle to Dwayne Wade because this is his franchise. And I can't remember exactly how it happened, but it basically took Dwayne Wade, Eric Spoelstra, and Pat Riley telling LeBron, bro, we're not winning unless you're the best player in the world. Unless you take over these games, how are the Miami Heat going to be at the absolute best if the best player in the world is not taking over the games? And once everything ran through LeBron, Miami, now I know they got to 4 straight championships, all that stuff, but Miami actually stacked up a couple of championships. And one of the best versions of LeBron James you've seen was in Miami when they said, here are the keys. Here's the steering wheel. You sit in the driver's seat. We're sitting in the passenger seat. And once that happened, I think, obviously other things took over. And I only use that as an example. It's not the best comp, but I think you guys know what I'm going with here. I think there comes a point. It's like Magic Kareem. It's like Magic gets into the league. Kareem is still Kareem. But until Magic, it's like you're the quarterback. You take over this team. And it doesn't mean Kareem was any less than of what he used to be, but Kareem adjusted to Magic, and everyone kind of flourished. That's what's going to have to happen with Luka on this team. And I don't think LeBron's going to have any issue with it. It's just a matter of, is Luka comfortable coming to the Lakers? He's only been here for a week and a half, whatever. He's only played in 2 games. Is he going to get to a point later in the season where Luka says, this is my effing team? And I when I say that, I don't mean that in a selfish perspective. I mean that this is the way we're going to have our most success. Run everything through Luka. Let's get a couple more of these here. Let Luka get back into his feet. Luka knows he's not better than LeBron, so it should definitely be an interesting rest of the season. I don't think Luka knows that. LeBron's not 33. He's 40. And he's still incredible. This is interesting, actually. I like this. I like that there's some people that are like, no, everything's got to run through Bron. Luka's not as efficient as Bron. Well, LeBron's still the best player. Luka hasn't won anything yet. Interesting. All right, so some people disagree with it. Interesting. So I think there's some people here that are saying, no, it's still got to run through. Here's the problem if you try to run everything through LeBron. I don't like Luka off ball. I don't like Luka off ball. Luka's not going to be cutting to the basket. Luka's not going to be spotting up in the corner and just hitting threes. Like I'm not a fan of if you guys think that's the best way the Lakers. And at the end of the day, this is more about what gives the Lakers the best chance to have the most amount of success this year. I don't think that's going to be the case for the Lakers to do it. But people got their own opinion on it. So I don't mind that at all, that people got a different opinion. I don't agree with it. I think the best way that they can, they can have success this year, I'm going to agree with Windhorse on his point about this is going to basically have to run through Luka. And if it does run through Luka, then I think it gives them a greater shot to go a little bit further in the playoffs. But I'm also, I guess, not shocked or surprised, maybe a little bit surprised that there are people out there that are like, nope, this thing should still completely run through LeBron. All right, quick shout out here to one of our partners. I want to give a very special thank you to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Was with me back when I was at 710 ESPN. Now is with me here on YouTube. My independent journey that I'm on. And here's a partner really kind of a mentor of mine as well. I've had a lot of great business people that I've run into since I left 710 ESPN. And Brad Wallace is certainly one of them. Let me tell you a little bit about his business. I do have a personal relationship with him. I definitely can help make an introduction. I hope you never need him, but maybe he could potentially help you. If you or someone you know was in a serious injury, you should reach out to Brad Wallace. Let him walk you or your family through your legal options. I'm sure it's a very intimidating, daunting process, but he's an expert in the field. His team, they're all experts in the field. They can help you. By the way, this is not something where you just have to be in LA or San Diego or Southern California. No. Anywhere in the state of California, he can help you. So when it comes to serious injury cases, Brad Wallace's legal team at the Wallace firm, they're the real deal. Like I said, a personal friend of mine as well. So at least I think you guys could feel a little bit of comfort knowing that I can make a personal introduction. They consistently win big injury and wrongful death cases, and they can help you if you're in a predicament or a situation. Again, I hope you're not. I'm going to give you guys a URL here that you guys can just have. If it's something that you want to fill out, it comes with a free consultation. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa to get a free consultation. Hope you never have to reach out to him, but if you do, he's there to help you. Again, a proud partner of the channel, of the show. I'm looking forward to as we kind of get a little bit deeper into our partnership. There's some different things that we're going to be doing together. He's got a great podcast studio down at his offices. He's in Encino. I'm going to do a couple shows from there. I know that I'm going to hop on one of his podcasts to talk a little bit about our partnership. So I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing how this partnership continues. But I also want to try to help his business. At the end of the day, I'm promoting the best I can. If you can use his business, I can try to help make that introduction and go from there. We got some swag we're going to be giving away. Him and I are going to kind of co-brand on a couple of things. So a really good person. And it's very, very helpful to have partnerships like this for what I'm trying to accomplish. So shout out to the Wallace firm. Shout out to Brad Wallace, and really appreciate his partnership. Okay, let's keep the show moving here. I know I got one of my topics, Austin Reaves. All right, Austin Reaves. Best role for Austin Reaves. Best role for Austin Reaves. Let me go back to one of the comments that I starred because I said I was going to go back to this. Let me see this here. AR needs to be on the bench. AR needs to come off the bench is what you're saying. Okay. Guys, remember when Austin Reaves dropped 45? This was against the Pacers on Saturday, if you guys remember that. Drops 45 points. Phenomenal game. He was tremendous. I remember saying in the post-game show, you know, how great he was and everything else, how he was just kind of had a lot of those Pacers players on skates. Beautiful basketball, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, hitting threes, creating for himself. I mean, he was just phenomenal. But one of the things I remember mentioning in the post-game show is the question's not going to be what Austin Reaves can do when LeBron and Luka are out of the game or they're not playing in a game. The question for Austin Reaves is going to be, what can he do with LeBron and Luka? That's the thing I care about most. I don't really care what Austin Reaves can do when they're not there, because for the Lakers to make a real run, it's obviously going to be with those two players that are involved, everybody else as well. But to me, it's more important to see what Reaves can do off the ball. I'm sorry, with those two players. Okay, so let me get this out of the way here real quick. For anybody saying Austin Reaves needs to come off the bench, I'm going to save you some energy here. He's not going to come off the bench. At least it doesn't seem like that's going to be, you know, the game plan for the Lakers in the immediate future. So, with that said, just something to keep in mind. I wouldn't spend too much of your energy as I'm going through this topic making a case of why he should come off the bench, because I just don't think it's going to happen for now. I already said it. When they traded for Luka, I said, I think somebody had asked me during one of the post-game shows, hey, Al, give me your starting lineup. If you could pick any starting lineup, I already have mentioned, I'm going with, I want Luka, I want Dorian Finney-Smith, I want LeBron, Rui, and Jackson Hayes. That's my starting five, but that's not going to happen. AR is going to be in the starting lineup, and then we'll see as things progress whether he stays in the starting lineup or not. So let's use Austin Reaves' role as a starter and kind of how they use all those minutes and everything else. Okay, so he's a starter. What's his best role as the Lakers? Austin Reaves is going to really have to try to figure out how to be an asset for this team with Luka primarily the ball handler and then probably LeBron after that. And then, obviously Austin Reaves is going to eat third on that list. Can Reaves be an asset by spotting up? Can Reaves be an asset by getting set up by Luka, but Reaves can still set up other guys? Can Reaves be an asset by, teams are focusing so much on Luka because he's cooking in the first quarter. Can Reaves get into attack mode and kind of throw these teams off guard because there's more attention on Luka, there's more attention on LeBron James? Here's what I don't want to see from Austin Reaves. I don't want to see Reaves settling. I think what's going to hurt Austin Reaves, by the way, he probably needs 12, 13 shots a game, somewhere around that area. Still try to see if he can set up for other players. Still crash the glass. Still try to get to the free throw line. Here's what I don't want to see from Austin Reaves. I'm not a fan of Austin Reaves settling for threes. Because I think if you're a defense out there, and Reaves, as in it's not a natural shot. Like I think for Reaves right now, if he's got it going and he's hitting his threes and whatever, if he's flowing, then he's going to do his thing. And if those shots are falling, they're falling. But I'll use that game against Utah as a good example. He settled for so many bad threes. Guy was taking 25, 26 footers. It's like, all right, so you're not even going to try to attack their zone. You're not even going to try to get to the free throw line. This is part of the reason why I like a DFS in the starting lineup, but because I don't think that's going to happen, we just have to kind of live with the reality. And frankly, whether we like it or not, JJ Redick has had such a great track record so far this year. It's like you're going to kind of run with whatever JJ has in mind, you're going to just run with. You're going to roll with. In a perfect world for Austin Reaves, he understands how to be a more effective player off the ball. When he does get the ball, he's more in attack mode rather than settling for three, still trying to get to the free throw line. And he could still be a player that has the ability to contribute or to distribute to some of these other players. That's how I think Austin Reaves is going to have to play his game. Because if Austin Reaves is still taking 15, 17, 18 shots a game, and 8 or 9 of those are from the three-point line, I don't think that's good basketball. I think he's going to struggle. I think the team is going to struggle if that's kind of his mentality. And that kind of takes me back to Brian Windhorst's point earlier that I played at the beginning of the show. It takes me back to they're all still trying to figure out what the hell they have. They're all still trying to figure out the best way to use this roster. They're all trying to figure out, okay, what are the best places for Austin Reaves to be in with Luka and LeBron in the game as well? What are the proper rotational minutes when you say, okay, let's move LeBron to the bench. He's going to get a quick breather. Now it's Reaves and Luka that are working together with Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm just using as an example, right? What those rotations are going to be and everything else. So I think it's, I think Reaves' role is probably going to be the most interesting of some of these players that are on this team because he's having such a great season. He's been flourishing really since D'Angelo Russell was traded and a little bit before that as well. He's got some games where they're clunkers, but he's also got games where it's like, my God, this guy looks amazing. How does Reaves adjust into this whole mix? Because it's going to be Reaves that has to adjust almost more than anybody else because this is such a kind of an awkward position for him. You got two ball handlers that need the ball, and then you got Austin Reaves. So how is he going to adjust? It's different when you had Anthony Davis before. It's different when it was just LeBron. D'Lo is gone, and you need Austin Reaves to be on the ball. Well, now you got one of the guys that needs the ball most of any player in the league. I mean, I think his usage on the ball might be number one in the league in Luka Doncic. And LeBron, obviously, we already know how effective he is when he has the ball. So the role for Austin Reaves and his adjustment is going to be one of the bigger adjustments that we're going to see in these final 30 games. All right, let's look at some of these. Let's look at some of these comments here. All right, let me get down here to the bottom. By the way, let me just do this here real quick. Shout out here to one of our new members, Isaiah. Isaiah, thank you, brother. I appreciate you being a new member. Greatly appreciate that. I'm going to put a link to for everybody here. So those who don't know, $3 a month, you can be a member. It's a great way to support the channel. And I'm going to start here tomorrow, kind of having some exclusive content for members. More of it is going to be behind the scenes. So just so you guys know, it's not going to be kind of your typical content where I'm just talking sports. I want to kind of bring you guys behind the scenes, get your guys' suggestions on the channel, some input on some certain things, some guests that you guys would like to see. So I'm going to be working on all that stuff, and that's going to be primarily with members. The goal is if I could get 3, 4, 5 new members, every show that I do would be fantastic. So something to keep in mind. I just put the link there as well. So if you guys want to be a member, would greatly appreciate that. Do you think Luka is starstruck right now? I don't know if you mean. Let me kind of think about what I believe you mean when you say that. Starstruck right now. Do you mean that like he just got to LA, still in shock, still doesn't know, it still hasn't fully sunk in? Yes, that's what I do believe. I also believe Luka's trying to be a good teammate and a good guy, and is also trying to fit into a team that he just got traded to. All the cameras are on him. Matt Brown says playing with LeBron. I don't think starstruck. I think more trying to figure out how to be the right teammate. That's what I think. That's what I think. So I think it's more about that. I'm waiting for Luka to stop being passive. And listen, nothing that's happened. I've mentioned this before. In the first 2 games he's been a Laker, I didn't care how he played. I didn't. He didn't play well. Luka has not looked good so far as a Laker. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. What I'm going to start looking at Luka is 5, 6 games in and 2, 3 weeks of just playing Lakers basketball. What's he look like then? When you start having games nationally televised against the Denver Nuggets, what's it look like? You're going up against Jokic on the other side. That could be the playoff matchup in the first round or second round or whatever the case is. Show me that killer. Where's Luka? By the way, I see a lot of people saying this as well. And I don't mind, pointing these out here. Let me see what we got here. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Let's see what else we got here. I think some people were pointing out his weight and everything else. I don't know if I could find it right now, but I think there were a lot of people, talking specifically about the shape that he's in and everything. Hey, listen, I will tell you this. I will say one man's opinion on this. Yeah, the guy doesn't look like he's in shape. Definitely doesn't look like he's in shape. And if he's going to be the absolute best version of himself, he's got to drop weight. He does. Michael was right a week ago when Michael said that. He's got to drop weight. And I think people can say, might sneeze here. Oof. Oh, that was probably not good for everybody's ear. I apologize on that one. I almost sneezed. All right, lock that in here. If people are sitting back and they're pretending like the guy is in great shape, he's not. This is an area of his game, and Dallas said it on his way out the door that he's got to get into better shape, all that stuff, right? Okay. That's exactly what they were saying. All right, now it's up to him to go, all right, I'm going to get in the best shape. I was out for a couple of weeks. I've been dealing with this calf strain, or I was out for a couple of months. I was dealing with this calf strain. So he's 1,000% has got to get his body in the right position. I'd rather do that than be trying to talk here with got a little bit of a cold here. I don't know what's going on. But we play through it. We play through it. All right, let's see what else we got here. I just don't understand why we need another ball-dominant player alongside Luka in the backcourt. Just feels like common basketball sense. I agree with that. I agree. I think there's a little bit of that. But I also think that Reaves has been so good for them this year. I think there's part of them that's like, all right, well, let's just see what it looks like. I think there's a little bit of – I think there's a portion of this Lakers front office and this franchise that's saying they also don't know what they have. So they might as well try it. They're going to try different things. I will say this, and this is where I'm going to give J.J. Redick a lot of credit. J.J. Redick hasn't really done anything that I think anyone can look at and say to themselves that he's been stubborn about sticking to a lineup that wasn't working. Give him that. D'Lo was in the starting lineup. D'Lo was taken out of the starting lineup. Dalton Knecht was in the starting lineup. Dalton Knecht was taken out of the starting lineup. He's made changes throughout the season that clearly have shown he's willing to adjust. I think in 10 games, if Austin Reaves in the starting lineup's not working the way they want it to, I think you'll see Austin Reaves come off the bench. I do believe that. So I would just say that I'm going to give him a lot of a rope when it comes to that. All right, let's look at a couple more comments here. Kobe was selfish and it worked. Kobe needed the ball in his hands to be Kobe. I think Luka needs it too. Let's get it. Yeah, I hope people don't use. I hope people don't think when I use certain terminology, I'm trying to be disrespectful to the player. When I say Kobe was selfish, that's how Kobe was wired. Okay, Kobe's a different player than Magic. Kobe's a different player than LeBron. Stylistically, they're completely different. But that doesn't mean that those players weren't more effective with that mindset. Luka, I think, is going to have to take a little. And by the way, Luka's game it's not necessarily selfish. What I mean by that is Luka's willing to throw dimes. Luka's willing to have 10, 12, 15 assists in a game. But Luka also knows that I need the ball in my hands to make this team the best version of itself. Or for him to be the best version of himself, which then in return puts the team in a position where it's the best version of themselves as well. Ernie, thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate you. Ray's got an idea. Fugazi or real? Segment for comments news. Okay. All right. Okay. That's not bad right there, Ray. It's not bad right there, Ray. Thank you for the idea there. I appreciate that. I wanted to throw something in here real quick. I'm going to do that right now, and I'll go back to the comments. NBA standings right now. And the only reason why I'm going to point this out is I want to pretend as we sit here today, I want to pretend that the playoffs started today. And just to kind of show you guys how much fun these playoffs could potentially be, how much wildly different these playoffs could be, especially for the Lakers. Okay? If the playoffs started today, we're at, probably 65% done with the season. There's 30 games left. We all know, where the Lakers are sitting. But because we're at the break, let's just pretend for a quick second. Look at what the matchups would be if the playoffs started today. In the play-in tournament, you'd have Minnesota and Dallas, Sacramento and Golden State. You'd have those four teams fighting for 2 spots. Okay? Phenomenal. How great would those matchups be? You could have Minnesota and Dallas battling, winner then probably playing Sacramento or Golden State. I mean, obviously playing Sacramento or Golden State just to get in. Okay? First round, you'd have Denver taking on the Clippers. You'd have Houston taking on the Lakers. I'll take that matchup. Houston's been reeling a little bit. And I like how tough they play. I respect what Ime Udoka has done for that franchise and for that team, but they're not playing good ball. Like, I think that's just the reality of it. And I think if you're a Laker fan out there, you're saying to yourself, like, yeah, okay, I'll take my chances with that. I'll take my chances with that. Inexperience, they got some youngsters on that team. Houston really isn't expected to make too much. Much rather play Houston than Denver. Tell you that right now. Much rather play Houston than the Denver Nuggets. Denver and Clippers, I think, would be an interesting matchup. So that's kind of fun, to see what this could potentially be, if and when the playoffs start, what that could look like. I think that's an interesting to look at. I mean, obviously, a lot can change between now and then, but something to keep in mind. All-Star Weekend. Thank you for the super, brother. Don't think I forgot about you. If you sent me a super and you sent it earlier in the show, I'll make sure I get to it. Don't worry. All-Star Weekend used to be our access to players, off-the-court personalities. Social media is our access now. New world thoughts. I had it here, and I'll get into a couple different things, but I had it here to get the All-Star Weekend. People still enjoy the All-Star Weekend? I mean, or is it exactly how people say? They think it's a complete waste of time. They hate it. I used to watch it religiously. When I was a kid, man, I don't know what it was. I used to love the All-Star game. But this back in the day, when it was Magic and it was Jordan, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Clyde Drexler, David Robinson. I'm trying to think of just like all these greats. Even in the Kobe days, I used to still watch it. I don't know at what point we all kind of started churning away from the All-Star game. And I know a lot of people get upset and they say, oh, it's because they don't compete. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if it's just that. Like, what do we want them to do? We want them, is the idea that you want these guys playing like it's a playoff game? It's an all-star game. It's supposed to be an exhibition. Okay, maybe you don't want to see 200 points scored by each team. I get that. I completely get that. Maybe you want some resemblance of defense and some resemblance of a team that, it feels like they sort of care. Maybe it's because they care so little that it wears off on us, that then we just care so little. But yeah, the game's definitely not the same. It's definitely not the same. I think the one that's most disappointing to me is the dunk contest. I don't know when it, churned into this. It's like not cool to be a part of the slam dunk contest. They don't want, a lot of these, greats just don't want to be a part of the slam. Like, what happened there? For the love of God, if Michael Jordan thought it was okay to be in the slam dunk contest, what happened? If Kobe thought it was okay to be in the slam, that's the part that kind of threw me off, is the slam dunk contest. Like, even the slam dunk contest, it's almost as if has lost it's completely lost its respect. You got to be a rookie, or you got to be somebody that's an unknown player. I'll tell you, one of the best slam dunk contests I've ever seen in my life, and you guys should go back and watch it, was Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. One of the best. I think Aaron Gordon got screwed out of 2 slam dunk competitions, but it just lost its, and I'll start looking at some of the comments here. It just got to a point where nobody wanted to have anything to do with it anymore. Why? All right, that's right, freaking Dr. J. I swear, every time I see Aaron Gordon, I still think of him getting screwed in the slam dunk contest. Brian Amid, by the way, this is a great one from Brian. If you guys haven't seen this, the Cavs in a halftime had a dunk contest between 2 guys. They were both incredible. They were both phenomenal. Michael Thompson used to throw this idea out every time we got close to the All-Star break when I was still at 710. And we talk about, in the pregame show, we talk about it. He said, why don't you just go get the best dunkers in the world to go be a part of the slam dunk contest? Make it entertaining. All right, none of these other NBA players want to be a part of it. Just go get the best dunkers in the world. There's guys that tour. You guys remember back when, you guys remember the and one competitions that they used to have, and some of those athletes that represented and one. Oh, there are some high flyers, some ridiculous athletes around the world where all they do is dunk. Go bring those guys for the All-Star game. The top players treat the whole All-Star as a joke. Maybe that's why we hate it. Maybe that's the best way that I can put it. Maybe that's why nobody likes it, is because they don't care for it, so everybody else doesn't care for it. All right, let's see what we got. That was LeBron James. He refused to do it, started the downtrend. I don't know why. I mean, if there's accuracy to that, I don't know why LeBron didn't want to do it. I don't know why these guys just all of a sudden, even the players used to all go. If you guys remember, see a lot of these, a lot of the All-Stars would be sitting on the sidelines just watching, giving their reaction. Remember Shaq used to always do it? I remember Shaq had the camcorder when Vince Carter was doing it. I don't know what happened to it. All-Star game for me is a break from the NBA, vacation. I'll still watch it, but I almost watch it because there's nothing else going on. But I don't think I watch it for any other reasons. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe, these guys didn't want to lose in a slam dunk contest. Dominique Wilkins versus Michael Jordan was so much fun. Dominique won that slam dunk contest. I told Dominique. I had a chance to interview Dominique last year. It was cool. Lakers were playing the Hawks, and complete legend. And I asked Dominique, I'm like, hey, you want to come on the pregame show with me and Michael? And I had mentioned him. I'm like, you won the slam dunk contest. I just kind of had to slip that one in real quick when he went up against Jordan. All right, let's get into. I want to get into our weekend recap here, or our weekend preview here, real quick. So, weekend preview. I mentioned this before, is presented by the Wallace firm. There's a couple of topics that I want to get into here real quick. Valentine's Day tonight. Let's talk a little Valentine's Day here real quick. Let's talk a little Valentine's Day. Weekend preview presented by Wallace firm. Like I mentioned, need legal help for a serious injury. The Wallace firm are proven trial lawyers. Go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa to learn more. Shout out to them. Thank you very much for being a partner. All right. So I don't know what your guys' game plan is for Valentine's Day. Let me just warn everybody out there. This is not the day to take out your significant other. It's just not the day. It's not the day. Let's just say restaurants, they're overwhelmed with people tonight. Let's just say they're not at their best. Here would be my suggestion for everybody out there that wants to take their significant out or do something nice for their significant other for Valentine's Day. The number one thing you could do, cook at the house. Cook together. Go get whatever it is that you like. Couple nice pieces of steak. Couple nice pieces of fish. Whatever the case is. Whatever her favorite dish is. Go do the best you can. Pour yourself a little bit of wine. Cook together. Stay at the house. Have that intimate interaction that you'd like to have, in the sense of being together, enjoying a night together. Go try to cook together. Tonight is not the night to go out to a restaurant. It's just too much of a zoo. You're almost better off either going the day before or the day after. But the day of let me tell you guys a quick story on Valentine's Day. I remember a couple years back. Me and my girl were going to go to a nice restaurant, set up a reservation. I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful restaurant. It's going to be great. It's a nice steakhouse. I'm like, hey, I got it all set up. By the time they took us to our reservation, to our table, by the time we went out there, I'm like, where are we? We weren't even in the restaurant. It was like a setup that they had made out, kind of like outer area. And the table next to me, I could hear their entire conversation. I got a table right to my left, table right in front of me, right behind. Oh, I was having Valentine's Day with 8 other couples. Not exactly the best. My suggestion is either go tomorrow. My suggestion is either go get food and go prepare for everybody. Try to do your best to try to be a little bit of a chef tonight, cook together, nice bottle of wine. That would be my suggestion. Going out on Valentine's Day, that ain't easy. That ain't easy. All right, let's keep going here. A little bit of a weekend preview. All-Star dunk contest. Here's who's this is my exact point of why nobody cares anymore. Here are the players that are going to be in the slam dunk contest. Matas Buzlius from the Bulls. Andre Jackson Jr. of the Bucks. Mac McClung, who won it last year, was part of the Spurs. That's my point. Nobody knows who these guys are. I'm not saying nobody knows who they are, but you guys know what I'm referring to. You know who the slam dunk contest, you want to know, you want to get people interested. If you told me it's John Morant, Anthony Edwards, let me think of some other high flyers that should be in the slam dunk contest. You guys can put 2 more suggestions in. But if you told me Anthony Edwards and John Morant are in the slam dunk contest, we're all watching. They're not putting the best in there. And the best don't want to be there. All right, 3-point contest. Here's what we got. 3-point contest I actually like. Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, Damian Lillard, and Norman Powell. I'm all right with that. How about Norman Powell? Dropped 40 yesterday. How about the season that guy's having? Okay, NBA All-Star teams here real quick. Here's what we got. They got a completely new format. I think you guys know there's 4 teams now that are all competing. So the structure is going to be completely different. I think it's kind of interesting. I kind of like the way they're doing it. You got your 24 players split into 3 teams, and then you got the rising stars that are going to be a part of it as well. I think it's going to kind of be interesting. I think it'll be kind of fun to kind of see how they do it. I don't mind them trying new things. The problem is nothing has worked up to this point. All right, let me look at a couple of these comments here, and then I'm going to get to I got a couple baseball things for the weekend preview, and then we're going to call it a day. All right, let's see what we got here. Slee, be a great idea to get some moderators in here eventually. Okay. Could work on that. We could work on that. Mac won it twice. Yep, we know that. We definitely know that. All right, let's keep going here. See what some of the people were saying about Valentine's Day. We're getting Taco Bell tonight. It's our tradition. Sushi. Hope that she likes McDonald's. Cook something at home. I'm telling you, I think that's the way to do it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Casanova Slee. Fax Allen. Single, don't care. All right, you're good. You're good. You're good. I mean, it's not like it's easy to cook. I'm just saying that's a suggestion I have. Dunk contest. So I like this one. Levine, Ant, Ja, and Green from the Rockets. Jalen Green from the Rockets. Yeah, that dude, he's a high flyer too. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take something like that. It's going to take something like that. All right, I'll tell you guys this. A lot of times when the show's going on, it's hard for me to, keep track of the comments. If there are people who are, I want to let everybody comment. I don't want to stop anybody from commenting. But if you don't think people are adding to the chat or they're just literally spamming the chat, okay, that's a different conversation. So I want you guys to kind of police yourselves. I don't want to be in the mix here. But if somebody's taking away from the experience, all right, we'll point it out. They continue to do it, then I'll go from there. So, but like I said, I mean, the comment portions to me is a very, very important part of the show. And I want everybody to feel like they can say, obviously have their opinion on things. If people are wildly disrespectful or they're doing stupid things, then I'll clean it up. So Give everybody an idea on that. Okay, a couple MLB things here as we go through the weekend preview, and then we're going to call it a week. Here's what we got. Alex Bregman signs with the Boston Red Sox, gets 3 years, $120 million. Dude's about to get paid. 90 million. He's got a little bit of deferred money in there as well. Obviously, Alex Bregman, a part of the Houston Astros. Anytime anybody thinks of him, they're always going to think about the cheating scandal. That's just gonna come up with a lot of these players. It just does. Altuve. There's always going to be players kind of associated with that. He goes to the Boston Red Sox. And the last thing I'm going to mention here, which I actually don't think is a story, and I think people are going to think I'm trying to be disrespectful. I'm not. Clayton Kershaw Clayton Kershaw back with the Dodgers. Okay. So Clayton Kershaw, let's see. Let me read here because I want to just get the exact details. He had some quotes here, but I want to, I think it was like maybe 5 million, could go up to 10 million, something along those lines. It's a 1-year contract. Here's why I don't think it's a big deal. Let me explain to you why it's not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. What I mean by that is they're not going to depend on Clayton Kershaw. Like the Clayton Kershaw chapter of the Dodgers is in the rearview mirror, right? They have so many players. They have so many stars. They have so many other storylines. Clayton Kershaw is a luxury, not a necessity. For a big bulk of Clayton Kershaw's career, he was a necessity for the Dodgers. You had to have him. What's it going to look like? Clayton Kershaw's got to be healthy. He's got to be this. I mean, he was such a big part of the Dodgers for so long. That chapter, even though he's still on the team, is in the rearview mirror. Again, that's not me trying to disrespect Clayton Kershaw. I'm just telling you guys that a story like this isn't that big of a deal anymore because Shohei is going to be pitching this year. Tyler Glasnow will be back from his injury. Dustin May will be back from his injury. Tony Gonsolin will be back from his injury. Blake Snell is on the Dodgers. Roki Sasaki just signed with the Dodgers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto will probably start the season as when they're in Tokyo, probably get the first start. I just named off 6-7 players before I even got to Clayton Kershaw. That's my point. What I mean there is, and I think for Kershaw, it's going to be more about just trying to get him healthy for the playoffs. But even with that, it's not a necessity. It's a luxury. So the Clayton Kershaw news that came out about him, I think he had some quotes here. I hope this is the last time I have to rehab. Kind of done with that. But at the same time, I don't want to be the reason. I don't want that to be the reason I stop playing. Hopefully I can walk out on my own terms whenever that is. But it just didn't feel like it was the right time, even though we won. He's talking about even though they won a World Series. Obviously, he had very impact in that year last year. Clearly didn't have an impact in the playoffs. His impact was in the past. I don't know how much of Clayton Kershaw's impact you're going to have in the future. But Kershaw coming back to the Dodgers. I want to put in the weekend preview here as well. All right, let's see what we got here. BC continues to hate on my city. It's okay, BC. Yeah, but you do your thing, You win 10 World Series for all I care. I just want one. I just want one. That's all. That's all I want. Let's get a couple in here. I think Kershaw will help the team this year. I think he's finally get healthy and he was pitched well. But I think this is my exact point. Whether he's healthy or not, and whether he helps the team or not, the team is fine. I think that's my point, right? Like I think he would just be icing on the cake to the Dodgers if all of a sudden he comes back and it's like, oh wow, Clayton Kershaw is helping. Clayton Kershaw doesn't need to pitch, 30 starts. The guy just needs a pocket of the season where he feels good, he feels healthy, he's contributing. They probably go to a 6-man rotation. Like any team, you're going to have some guys that are in the lineup, not in the lineup, and Kershaw could probably grab some of those starts. All right. Kershaw deserves to ride off in the sunset while he mentors the young. It's like the best position for Kershaw to be in. There's going to be zero pressure on Clayton Kershaw. He just needs to come in and be Clayton Kershaw. And like I think what you're saying here, the knowledge that he has, if he can give some of that knowledge to some of these other players. All right. Let's stop it right there. Look at a couple more comments before we get out of here. If I missed any more of these Laker comments, I'll look back here for a quick second as well. Let's see what else we got here. All right, let's see what we got here. I would rather have Anthony Edwards to build around than Luka. At least plays defense and isn't obese. Joey's got a lot of comments here about Luka. He's overrated. Luka plays zero defense, is out of shape, and just complains. Okay, there's another one. I didn't know what was going on here. Crybaby, foul baiter, just because he's Lakers doesn't change my opinion. Or just because he's on the Lakers. It's going to be a fun season. Somebody's going to be right. I think Luka's going to ball out in the second half. I mean, listen, he's got to get comfortable. I do agree that he's got to drop some pounds. I do agree with that. I don't think anybody really disagrees with that. And let's see what he can do. Look, Dallas, on his way out the door, Dallas said a lot of things. Let's see how that motivates him. Let's see what that does. And like Windhorst was saying, I think to start off the show, it doesn't necessarily have to mean what he does this year. It's more about what the Lakers look like over the next, couple of years. But I do think, can Luka be the guy this year where he's basically saying everything runs through me? And we'll watch Luka. I wasn't watching every game Luka was playing in Dallas. But some of these playoff games, I was watching a lot of Luka. He was special. Very, very special. And I have no reason to think he's not going to be special with the Lakers. I have no reason to think he's not going to be special with the Lakers. All right, my people, solid week. Really, really good week. Fun week. I appreciate you guys throwing as many comments as you guys thrown in. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out for the show and really just helping this channel grow. So thank you very much for doing that. If you're a YouTube member, thank you for being a member. Tomorrow, I'm going to be heading back to the studio down in San Diego, and I will be throwing up a video. Very, very, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Very, very personal video with members. That's going to be the thought process. That's going to be the game plan. Take you guys a little bit behind the scenes. I can't wait to get my first video up in regards to that. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of the show, the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I'll see everybody else Monday at 8 a.m. Tomorrow, I will do a video for members if you guys want to be a part of that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you guys on Monday morning. Appreciate it, everyone.